Hello and welcome to my channel, Life in Abundance, where women get together to discuss how to become wise and wealthy. My name is Kathy, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. So, today we're going to talk about another key to getting wealthy, and that is investing. Now, if you're one of the ones who are like, I want to have my finances in order, I want to be able to afford anything that my family needs. Maybe you do want to be a millionaire, or maybe the idea of being a millionaire, whether it's multiple millions or just one, you're thinking that that's where you might need to be in order to be that super mom that is able to provide years of dance lessons or soccer summer camp for your kiddos so that they can live out their dreams. Your dream is to make sure you have enough for them to live out theirs. It's really hard to do that without investing because statistically, reports of how did you become a millionaire? And they study thousands and thousands of millionaires, and more than 80% of millionaires say, I became a millionaire not because I made a lot of money, but because I invested the money I made. If you've been following me for a while, you may know my story where even when I wasn't making money, because I invested, I was kind of making money. So we ended up getting to even higher than I thought I could. And that was because of investing. So I don't want anyone to go through the myths that I have heard time and time again that keeps people from investing. So let's debunk myths today. Because once you know the truth of this, once you know that these are myths, then maybe it'll be so much easier to actually start investing because it'll feel worthwhile. So, the biggest myth I hear about investing is I don't have enough to invest. Now, when I've heard that previously, I always just thought, well, I just don't have any money, so therefore I can't invest. But looking closer into it, now I can hear, I know some of you might be thinking, yeah, that's me, that's me. But I also, I'm going to challenge you today because I wonder also if it's kind of like the chicken and the egg sort of argument where do we not have enough money to invest today because we never started investing? So hear me out real quick. At some point, and my life was like this. When I first started working, I had a minimum wage job. I actually worked for Taco Bell. That was my absolute first job when I was 16, and minimum wage. And yeah, I still lived with my parents, but the money that I made there was extra, right? So things now I can blow. So of course, I saved some of it for college, and as I grew up, I got better and better jobs and they would make more and more money. Now, of course, I would have more responsibility, so I would have to pay more. Makes sense. You probably have experienced the same. But there was also what's going on is I'm making more money. Could I choose to the pay raise that I get? I actually take that because I knew how to live on less. I had been doing it before my pay raise. So the extra that I'm making, can I take that and start investing? And that may be, even if it starts small, that is a start. Now, I believe anyone can say, okay, I have a few extra dollars at the end of the week, at the end of the month. Another myth that some people believe is that because it's so small, it won't make a difference. Now, even small amounts accumulated can make a difference. And so think about it like, so every day at our house, I try to remember to sweep the house. And when I do, I get a little pile of dust, throw it away, fine. Well, when I get super busy and I forget about sweeping, and maybe a whole week goes by, and then I finally sweep, oh my gosh, I'm sweeping, and now there's this whole pile. So every day there was a small pile, but it accumulated over the week. Now it's incredibly obvious I needed to sweep. Even small beginnings in investing can be like that. They'll accumulate over time. And it would have been better to have started than to not start because you didn't have a lot to start with. Okay. And the thing about small beginnings is also that a lot of people discount compound interest. So, compound interest, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are familiar with it. It's that you're gaining a little bit more the longer you put money in, because if you're gaining interest, your money is making a little bit of money, right? So if there's a 5% interest, 5% interest on $1 is over a whole year, you'd be making $1.05. It doesn't feel like a whole bunch, right? But over 10 years, it grows more because the next year you have $1.05. And so you'll be making, a dollar. Well, that's not a whole bunch, but say if you had started with $1,000 and then you were making $10 of interest, the next year you'd be making $11 of interest, right? And that grows on top of a period of time because of the compounding interest. Now you're not only building on top of what you started with your principal, but you're building on top of what you also already gained, right? Now, for even in the stock market, when I had started investing, it just felt like forever to get anywhere, even though it was being compounded, even though there was compound interest, because there was only a little bit in the stock market. There was only a little bit in my retirement fund. So it felt like it was going like this. It was growing, 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 barely. But what happens is after enough time, it starts getting more significant and you'll notice the difference more. And that's from compound interest. Now, when the interest rate is low, I know it feels like, ugh, why even bother? And that's why in this channel, we also talk about something that I've been doing in my investing that has made a huge difference because it grows so much higher than the interest you can get in the banks, or what you can earn in the stock market, also probably more than what you would earn in real estate. And that has been Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has been growing at 50% a year on average for more than a decade. 50%, 50. And so when you end up with a high growth asset, instead of that $1 becoming $1.05, that $1 is become $1.50. And the next year it's like $1.80. I know for when you're talking about $1, it doesn't make that much. It doesn't sound like it's making that much difference. But over time, it will grow, because if at a 50% growth rate, that means your money is doubling almost every 2 years. Imagine that. Your money is doubling almost every 2 years. So if you need to put your kiddos in college and you had a few $1,000s and they were in middle school, how much more would you have using Bitcoin, even if it was a small amount, than you would have in the stock market, right? And that's why I've been using Bitcoin. But a lot of people will go back to, but I don't have enough money to invest in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's so expensive, Kathy. So that's another myth that I'm going to dispel right here. You can buy a part of a Bitcoin. Just like you might have Robinhood or Acorns, where you can just put in a little, however much money you have, $5, $10, and you can buy part of a stock, like a fractional share. You can do that with Bitcoin too. So don't let the price of Bitcoin keep you out of Bitcoin. You can buy Bitcoin with $5 at a time. And as a matter of fact, I've got a resource for you. It's an app that you can get online or just a website. It's DCA BTC. BTC is short for Bitcoin. So DCA, dollar cost average, DCA BTC, dollar cost average Bitcoin, .com, and that'll get you to a site. If you put however much money you want to invest into that, it's just a calculator. It's just a calculator. It doesn't take any of your money. You could see how fast Bitcoin can grow. So, for example, I put in $10 a week over 3 years. If you had done that, you would have invested as much as about $1,500 over 3 years. But it would have grown to more than $3,000 because Bitcoin grows so quickly, right? So what if you did that for 5 years? For 5 years, you would have put in almost $3,000, but it would have grown to be like $7,500. So that's where you can get possibly life-changing money by being in one, by investing, by starting to invest even a small amount. Two, let it grow over time using compound interest. And three, maybe even putting some of your money in a high growth asset like Bitcoin so that the growth really makes a difference. And so you don't have to have a lot of money to start investing. With high growth, actually, the high growth can make up for the small amounts. And over time, it ends up being really big, right? Even $1,000, but over 10 years, compounding every 2 years. So if we had put in $1,000 of Bitcoin and we waited 10 years, so it would go from 1 to 2,000, that would be 2 years, 4,000, 8,000. You'd be talking about more than 15,000, about $15,000 from $1,000 in 10 years. That is huge growth. So don't discount small beginnings. Start. And if you have any questions about Bitcoin, let me know. I'd love to talk to anybody about how to use Bitcoin to help boost your investments. But please don't discount small beginnings. I hope this has been helpful and that with these keys, you're going to be on your way to become a wise and wealthy woman. I'll see you in the next video.